Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Two of Wands, which has everything to do with dominion and kind of can be a chaotic energy, very passionate, kind of abrupt and forceful, maybe even a little bit obsessive. Let's go ahead and see what the tea leaves have to say, see how these two things kind of go together. Now, immediately I'm seeing we have it looks like the face of a devil kind of character. We have two eyes, we have a nose, we have kind of a little smirk, we have the head and a little horn right here. Now we also have above, it looks like a house. Okay, so it feels like this is maybe something within the domestic, kind of a trickstery feeling, almost kind of, I feel like it's almost a disruptive feeling. Let me get my words together here. Kind of trickstery, maybe causing problems on purpose. I almost wonder if this is like an older child, maybe an adult child. It could be another family member, but it feels like somebody who, it's like if there's not this chaos and turmoil, and that's what it is. It's like they feed on the turmoil. And I don't know what that dynamic must be to cause somebody to kind of really, I mean, and I think a lot of it is like maybe gossiping, talking, maybe even kind of lying, fibbing about things, and just creating an environment where there's not a lot of peace, right? It almost feels like in the home, you feel stuck. You go home and you're just looking towards some kind of dramas, trying to navigate maybe this child who is getting in trouble, who is purposely causing maybe arguments, within the household between you and your spouse, or among the other children, or whoever it is, right? I don't know that this is so much a nefarious act, but I think that this is somebody who has developed maybe this is their way of getting attention, right? And they don't care if it's positive attention or negative attention. Probably more looking for the negative attention, if this is consciously or not, because it's so much more intense usually, right? When you are getting in trouble, you have the full attention of your parents, right? When you are, getting suspended from school, or you are, starting some dramatics at family dinner, the whole extended family's there, and they're sitting there, saying things that are making people upset, or doing something that's just, causing these kind of arguments within the family, or whatever. They're getting so much potent attention, right? And it feeds whatever that kind of, and it is, I feel like it is kind of this disruptive archetypal energy. And I feel like this has been an ongoing thing. I don't think it's just like developed out of nowhere, but I feel like there's almost this sense of being like so exhausted by it. Just so tired of having to deal with it, not knowing really how to find the support that you might need. Because let's face it, right? Even if you are the most amazing parent and your kid is the most behaved child in the whole world, right? There's always going to be somebody that has something to say about how you're parenting. There's always going to be some kind of judgment. So when you have a child who is maybe prone to behaviors that other people don't understand, or it's causing conflict, or, you know, it's just something that it can make people feel, well, they don't know. Why is this kid always throwing tantrums? Well, they don't understand necessarily what is going on, you know, with them. Is this a parenting issue? Is this like a behavioral issue? Is this something else? Are they on one of the spectrums, or, you know, whatever? And it's really none of their business, right? But when you are a parent of somebody who has a lot of needs and it can be very isolating. It can absolutely. And you can feel probably pretty judged, right? And not really knowing like how do I connect with other people, because I have this energy, this thing in my life that is taking up all of the air in the room. And that is not to say that you don't love this person if they're your, I mean, it could even be like your spouse, or, you know, a good friend, or a parent, or whoever it is, right? You love them, you are devoted to them, but it is difficult nonetheless. It does not detract from, you know, the perils of trying to navigate this kind of energy. Now, I also feel, first of all, let me just say, I forgot to say, if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe, right? Also, if you want to leave a comment or hit the like button, I'd love to hear from you. If you're new to the channel, shout it out in the comments section. But I feel like this is a time where there seems to be kind of this flare up of maybe behaviors and things going on. And, you know, if you're in North America, right, and you have a child who's school aged, yeah, we're in, maybe you're not, but I'm thinking of this as being kind of, you know, it makes sense to me. There's a lot of people struggling right now because we're going through a big transition in routines, right? A lot of kids are going back to school, kids going off to college. Your grown children, their own children, or, you know, your grandchildren are starting to go to school, or they're in school. And everybody is in kind of this state of moving schedules around, right? And that can feel very chaotic under the best circumstances. Now, when things are, you know, kind of difficult generally anyways, right? This can be a time that is very stressful, okay? So, you know, if you do not identify with any of this part of the reading, okay, thank you for staying. But I think it's also a good place for us to remind ourselves that we need to exercise a lot more empathy for one another, right? A lot more empathy. We need to look around and see the people in our lives, especially those who are, you know, struggling in some way. And now it doesn't have to be just with the children, but we need to have more empathy. try to reserve our judgments for one another, you know. And I know, Scorpio, listen, I always say this. I'm a Virgo, solar Virgo. And I feel like Virgos and Scorpios are so much alike. You're just more interesting than us Virgos. We're a little bit more, maybe a little bit more on the dull side sometimes. But what I will say about both of us, what we have in common is, yeah, we're very judgmental. And maybe not judgmental, but we notice things, right? We see how things are going down. We are looking around and we're taking note of all of the happenings and the dynamics and so on. So while we're doing that, Scorpio, yeah, let's reserve some of our judgment for, you know, if we have more information or even just not at all, right? Maybe we just look around and say, you know, hopefully everybody's doing okay. Hopefully everything, you know, is moving towards ease for each and every one of us. And I think, you know, it's an important practice for us to really get into, yeah, being in gratitude and kind of like and it is kind of forced positive self-talk and talk about other people, other things going on. Can you imagine a whole day where you do not say one negative thing about another person or another situation? Like something outside of yourself and your direct life. I need to work on it myself, to limiting my judgments about stuff, right? And people and whatever else. So I think that it's maybe this is the challenge of this cycle. We will all decide together to kind of, when you have the impulse to say something like, you know, whatever it is, like, they don't know how to drive, that person just cut me off. Oh, well, hopefully they get home safely. I'm glad that I am okay, you know? And it's hard, but it is. It's recoding our thinking, right? And I think that's so important to at least exercise once in a while, you know? It's something to try anyways. Now, we have over here, it looks like we have a large dragon. So we are in the year of the dragon still yet. We also have the owl down here. We have an arrow. We have what looks like a queen up here, and I'm going to call her the Queen of Wands. So I feel like this is the year where you, and oh, we have the star up here. Look at that, the star. So this is the year where you really start focusing on that big goal of your life. And that's what the star is. The star is the goal. The dragon is the year, right? Now we're halfway through the year, or even more than halfway. And yesterday I made stuffing for lunch. I made chicken and stuffing and it felt like fall. I just couldn't, it was so good. I'm so stoked about soup season. But anyways, I'll get back to it. So we have the Queen of Wands. Yes, passionate. Yes. Those inspirations rising, that motivation to apply yourself to something you know, magnificent. And I really think that's what it is. You're in this period of your life where, you know, all of the little dalliances and distractions and, you know, little kind of side missions that you've been on, you're gathering your kind of energetic resources to really focus on that big goal you have. Whatever that is, you know, if it's maybe like, I want to buy some land, I want to start, you know, what is that called? Like homesteading. I want to find my person. I want to get married. You know, I'm going to start dating in earnest here. I want to be closer to my God, my goddess. I want to really devote myself to these spiritual workings, and maybe it is religious, and I want to get back to going to church every weekend, or, you know, going to temple on Friday nights or whatever. And this is a time where I'm really going to be very focused on that work, not to be distracted by things that amount to very little ultimately. Now we have the owl and we have the arrow. So I do feel with the owl, it is the watcher, it is the observer, it is the wise, this wise energy of really kind of listening, eyes open, not having much to say about it, right? You're in a mode of collecting information. I do feel that with that arrow, there is a belovedness. And I feel like it's almost kind of like you come into this place where you start maybe working out some plans, you're doing some research, you're getting into this mode, and you become so activated through this. It might have, excuse me, it might have been something that was kind of stopping you from even beginning, because it's so much, right? Now, maybe this is like you want to buy some land, right? Buy a house or whatever, and start homesteading. Well, that is a lot of planning. That's not just something that you, you know, decide, oh, I'm just going to go do this thing and we'll get started on Monday. No, this is like a long process of stuff, right? And it seems like a mountain, and it is. And it is. But I feel as you start planning and you start getting the wheels turning, right? You realize this is part of the fun of it all. This is the thing that is impassioning me. I actually am really good at doing this planning. I'm actually really good at figuring things out. You know, getting all of my ducks in a row. I'm enjoying this part of it. It's something that I am so inspired and impassioned by, that this is a treat. It doesn't just feel like tedium and bureaucracy and, you know, just navigating these labyrinths of tasks and things. No, it feels like a privilege. It feels like something, you know, that you wish maybe you had started earlier, because you're finding something that maybe you excel in. Now, I want to take a look and see. I want to see with our clarifying cards. These are the Oracle of the Radiant Sun, and they're beautiful cards. So I'm finding ways to use them. So I'm going to pull 3 cards. We're going to see kind of what does this next big thing kind of have in store for you? Not maybe where it ends up, but like, what are you going to be feeling, doing while it is beginning to happen, right? When you're getting in there. I want to know about kind of the state of things, okay? So I'm going to just stop where it feels right. We have Fortune, ooh. And I do just, I have my own real simple way of pulling cards. I'm not really good at shuffling. Not at all. Okay, so we have Fortune, Restlessness. Ooh, and I like that. It has Hermes on there. companionship. Okay, so, you know, I feel, and the restlessness makes sense because I think you're so impassioned by what's going on here. And I do wonder if this is something where you start working on it. It's kind of maybe a shared dream, but through this work, and I'm going to keep using this example of maybe like the household, the building up of kind of your dream living situation. You know, it might be that you found a partner who has similar inclinations. They have things that, you know, they would like to do. Maybe they're really into gardening, or, you know, they want to have like a hobby farm, or, you know, whatever it is. And you see kind of eye to eye in this area. And so I feel like as you become more and more really kind of serious about this path, it's not just some kind of idle dream that you have. I see that there is a growing companionship in this process. I feel like it is emerging into really trusting somebody so deeply, knowing that they're going to make the best possible decisions for a glorious outcome all around, right? So I feel that this is maybe something that's really strengthening your relationship. Now, I do feel like it is a restlessness. There is kind of this chomping at the bit, right? Really wanting to get going, maybe needing to ground yourself, get centered so that you aren't making decisions from a place of impatience or just wanting to get it done, right? You want quality over quickness. And ultimately, we have the fortune. So I do feel like this is a period of your life that is quite fortunate. It might feel like a struggle at times. It might feel like almost too much. It's a lot of anxieties around it and a lot of unknowns and sometimes things just going wrong, right? But I feel like there is fortune in not only the end product, right? But I also feel that there's fortune in the experience itself. Okay, I feel like this is a time in your life where you look around and you think, I never imagined that I would actually get to this place. I am doing better than I ever thought I would. I am obtaining the things that I have always wanted to or wanted to be able to do, and it feels almost like a miracle. And so I feel that this one is going to, it's going to get you closer to that ultimate goal. There are big strides forward, absolutely. Okay, so we have over here a person sitting on a chair. It almost feels like a scary apparition. A moment where I feel like it's like you've seen something. Maybe like a ghost or some kind of entity, something you can't explain. But it feels very much I'm imagining like a sitting room, like a front room, or I forget what they call them out here, like not the family room, but like a formal room, a room that's more formal, I guess, where you're not really always in there. Although maybe you go and like to sit there, or whatever, but it's usually like the room where you know, it's not where you're hanging out all the time. But it does feel like a room. And it feels like it's in the northeast. And there's something there. I can't tell if it's inside or out, but it feels like when you look out the window, there's almost an eerie feeling. I don't know what it is exactly, but it feels like it feels more tied to the location than to you. But I feel like it has startled you. And I almost feel like this isn't a human. It doesn't feel like it has thoughts like a human would. But I feel like it's more of a sense of watching you. It's watching you. I'm trying to think. There's something about acorns. There's a lot of acorns around. And I almost wonder if you're finding rocks, acorns, leaves, something left maybe like around your doors. Maybe on the porch. And I think that it's like maybe an animal is doing it. A bird. Birds will leave tokens, especially if you're feeding them. But this is something else. I think that I don't know, you've noticed it, but I don't think that it's clicking as this is something these things are tied together. But I think there's something, it's something in that space that you live. Yeah. I'm hearing crickets and it just feels like right after dusk. That's when it's really kind of hanging around. Like around 10 o'clock at night, right? 9:30, 10 o'clock. I wouldn't be afraid of it though. Although I think that it gives off kind of a menacing feeling. I don't think that this is a bad thing. It's not a malevolent spirit, I don't think. But it feels like something that is interested in maybe you, and maybe it is the doings of your family, right? Just kind of the activity. Spirits are often drawn to children, and I think that's because they are more likely to perceive them. But it's also because there's so much energetic force in the home when you have kids who are, they're yelling and running and having fun and make-believe and all of these kinds of things. And it draws in spirits for sure. So maybe a good thing is to fortify the house, do a cleansing, put up a talisman, something that you use to ward off negative energies, whatever it is. You could put a bowl of water in the window. You could, I like to use woven grass, braided grass, whatever your cleansing process is. It could be that this is something where you want to do a blessing also around the house, and on the property as well. Okay. So we're going to do our gratitude affirmation cards. These are from Purple Canyon. I'm going to go ahead and stop where it feels right. It says, joyful bouquet. I enjoy the delight that humor brings. Laughter is a colorful bouquet, imparting joy to my soul and my and energy to my spirit, imparting joy to my soul and energy to my spirit. I appreciate the comedic aspects of life that bring me cheer. Practice. When was the last time you enjoyed a good laugh? Think of a funny joke, movie, or moment in your day that infused you with joy. All right. Okay, Scorpio, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And so if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. If you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comment section. And other than that, I want to tell you, I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.